Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you. What up, listeners?
What's up?
Hopefully.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
dang.
Donnie.
It's Emily.
You better answer it.
I'm picking up. Hello.
Hello.
You're on the podcast.
Oh my goodness.
He remembered to pick up.
We're podcasting.
Hello to the people.
They say hi back.
I'm sure they do. I did not remember you were doing this today.
You should have. You should have marked it on your calendar.
I did not.
Now who's telling who about calendars? How the turntables.
Why would I have your events on my calendar?
Oh,
Hallie has mine.
oh, you hear that? Did you hear that?
They're married. They are married.
I guess that's true. We are not married.
No, we're not. So,
Well, I will give you a call back when we are done podcasting.
okay.
Alrighty?
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, love you.
I love you too.
Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.
Not married yet.
Segue.
Perfect segue, actually. So, we have a little bit of excitement happening within our lives.
Both of us.
More so for me, at least my thing, is more so exciting for me than it is for you. But
Right.
I'm so happy that you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'm proposing to my girlfriend. The kazoos are going to be a part of the wedding. You have no choice, Emily. It's a done deal. Oh, now she's texted me. Oh,
My goodness.
oh. I'm going to read the text live on air.
Oh.
Donnie, you are the handsomest person I've ever met in my whole life. That's not what she said at all. She said, I was calling to ask if you wanted a smoothie from Pulp for lunch. Sorry, I gotta have to text back here. I'm getting lunch with Pudge afterwards.
He won't be available because
Tell him why while I text back.
today is Friday. We usually record this on Thursday night. We're doing it Friday morning. It's a little different. We're got a kind of a busy day, a little bit, not really. We're going to do this. We're going to eat. And then we're going to go scout out the spot.
The spot where it's going down. We've been talking in code over
We
text.
have tying his shoe.
Tying my shoe is the code for proposing because I get down on one knee
That's right.
when I propose.
And so today we have to go scout the location
Right.
because I'm going to be hiding in the bushes probably
In a ghillie suit, I hope.
and going to be snapping some photos, which there's actually, I realized this morning, I was like, it's kind of a lot of pressure because there's only going to be one reaction.
Oh, yeah, you got to get it.
Yeah.
But luckily, you will be there photographing.
Photographing.
Allie will be there,
True.
your wife, with a camera. And then also Emily's sister, Mandy, will also be there.
We're going to hit it from all the angles.
We are. So a little bit of the game plan. We're going to a botanical gardens, which is around here. And they have some like really beautiful spots. And there's like this one kind of secluded spot that you walk down like a cobblestone path. And then there's a tree, like a really droopy tree. It's not a willow. I don't know what it is. But like there's a branch that just like droops over the path and creates like a branch archway into this other spot that's like a circle, like a little clearing
Mhm.
with like circle cobblestones. I'm going to do it right there. But the cool thing about that spot is that there is a path, like there's a embankment to the right of that little clearing that goes up to another path. And if you stand on that path, you can look right down into that clearing. So somebody can be standing on the path, snapping some pics from like an aerial sort of shot, you know?
We're going to have impeccable timing.
Yeah. You're going to have to, somehow you're going to have to be hidden and also keep people away from there.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I don't want to have to like shoo people away.
Do you have a rain plan? Because it is supposed to rain tomorrow.
The rain plan is we're going to do it in the rain.
Okay. My
Which-
camera's weather sealed, so
Perfect.
yeah.
So that might be a good thing, might be a bad thing.
Mhm. It might be a good thing for keeping people away.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So
My lie. I should probably just
Yeah.
mute this. My lie is going to be that I am buying something off Craigslist and we're meeting the guy
at a beautiful, serene spot.
at the ORADC because that's like in between me and him. And then we're going to get there and oh man, he's going to be 45 minutes late. So let's just walk around while we're here, you know?
But what if it's raining? How do you convince her to go walk around in the rain?
I'll probably bring an umbrella. I think I'll bring an umbrella and be like, let's do it in the rain. It'll be like romantic and we'll be under the umbrella. And I know like she does not like inclement weather like that. So
Yeah.
I know that she'll just be miserable until
Hopefully.
I say, here, hold this umbrella for me. Yeah, we hope. Come next podcast, I'm going to be either pretty stoked or pretty darn bummed. And freshly single, ladies.
Right. Really, because like if I proposed to somebody and they said no,
I think you
it's just
have
the
to end it.
Yeah, because like why are we doing this then?
I understand,
at
like-
that point. If you're at that point,
Right. I understand if like you've given like if the proposee or the proposee is the person proposing, right?
to the proposed.
The proposed gives like some pretty valid reasons.
Mhm.
Like you need to fix this in your life. You're addicted to cocaine. You need to quit your cocaine addiction before we can get proposed. Something like that. A valid reason like that. Also, you got an eye booger. Like,
Do I?
Yeah, other eye. You got it. I just didn't want to be staring at that
Thanks, man.
all podcast. Looking beautiful. All right. So, and you're in a pug shirt, a shirt with pugs resting in clouds. That's my favorite shirt of yours, other than the Billy Ray Cyrus t-shirt.
Yeah.
But other than like giving some valid reasons, but like we've talked about this.
hmm
Um,
That's the thing. Most people, like most of the time, if you're going into a proposal and you're not sure if they're going to say yes, you shouldn't be
Yeah,
proposing.
maybe pump the brakes on it.
Yeah, like you should probably talk about this before you just.
If she says no, it's going to be a curveball straight out of left field. But yeah, so I'm stoked. I'm excited. Right now, things are going well for little old Donnie. I had a good work call. Had a work conference meeting this morning.
I was going to ask about it on the podcast, but you got a little offended that I didn't when you got here.
I've been doing that to Emily. Like, I'll see her typically at the end of the day, and I'll be like, "How was your day?" And she'll tell me about her day. And then as soon as she's done, I'll immediately jump in and like, "Well, my day was pretty good. Thanks for asking." But yeah, so it's a new company, again, audiobooks, but they also are branching out into podcasts.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully something cool will happen with the podcasts, but
They are like, what's their hand in podcasting?
it would be like production, so like an
Okay.
editing production company,
Okay.
pretty much. But the audiobook side of things, I just got hired as an audiobook editor at this company. We were just going over stuff, but I had a conference meeting. There's like one dude that kind of owns the company, and then he kind of delegates stuff because he's getting, in his words, because I don't want to call him old, but he is trying to build up the business side of things because he has been an editor forever and like engineering, and he was a composer. So he's trying to step away from that, build the company so he can retire off of it in 10 or 15 years. So he does more of the business, and then he delegates like the podcast side of things to a guy and the audiobook things side of things to a couple of guys. So he hooked me up in a conference meeting with the audiobook guy. We talked. It was fun. We got to talk about some nerdy tech stuff and like recording stuff. And but overall, it went really well. And I think I came off intelligent.
Oh, good.
And smart.
Yeah.
And I have noticed something within myself recently is I used to be super nervous to do phone stuff like that, to talk to people in that sort of professional setting. Even like 3 months ago, like I hated doing like phone conversations, like meetings with people. But this one, I was a little bit nervous going in, but as soon as we started talking, I was like just going, you know, talking business, talking books, talking audio. And it was good. It was a good meeting.
Good.
Plus we discussed pay a little bit, and I'll be making more than I thought I would be.
That's always nice.
Initially. Yeah. And they were like, so, because you can either get paid for some companies that I work for, I get paid per finished hour. So if a audiobook ends up being 14 hours long when it's all said and done, typically I get paid $90 per finished hour. So whatever 90 times 14 is, that's what I would get. And I could have either put in a lot of work to that book or a ton of work, depending on how edit heavy or QC heavy it is. But they were like, let's just do like per hour this amount. And typically that'll most definitely be more than a $90 per finished hour deal.
Solid.
So I was like, yeah, that's works fine with me.
Okay, I guess.
And they were like, well, we just want to make sure that you're happy. And I was like, this is a cool company.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's my news. You got a whole paper here right in front of you, and you said you have some news.
I do have
I really
some
hope
news.
it's job related because I want to be so happy for you right now.
It is job related.
Okay, tell me all
Actually.
about it. Wait, before you start, do you have to move?
No.
Okay, all right, we're good.
At
Continue.
least at this present time, no.
Good.
But yeah, I got an offer this morning.
Really?
Yeah, that I'm gonna take. I need to call them after we're done recording.
Okay.
It's at a company in Kidron,
Okay.
which
yeah.
is, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so south of where I live.
Can you say the name of the company?
I'm not going to, just because I don't know.
Can you tell me right now and we'll edit it out?
Yeah.
Secrets.
Okay, so you've told me now the name of the company.
Yes.
Can you tell me on air what you'll be doing
Yes.
in the company?
Yeah.
Go for it. We've edited some stuff out at this point.
I will be doing like inventory management, so like material handling, which is kind of my background before I started the church. I actually also did a career assessment this past week, where 2 weeks ago I took like an hour and a half long test, and out of that, like it shows like what your strengths are supposed to be. It shows your interests and whatnot.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I wish it's sitting in the kitchen. My number 2 interest is animal care.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
Do you feel like that actually applies to you?
Yeah, I've always really loved animals, and I've always joked with Allie how I want to farm. And but like part of the thing is like you take that what your skills, what your interests are, and a few other like different things, and then out of those you're supposed to decide like what's just kind of like a hobby that you need to be like, you need to basically like scratch the itch, and what can you make a career.
Gotcha.
And so like mechanical I think was number 3.
Okay.
And then transportation was in there, which was interesting.
I did one of those tests once back when I was looking for a job a few months ago. Number 1 thing was janitorial services.
Really?
And nope.
Huh.
I think it wasn't like an hour-long test. It was like
okay.
a 5-minute test.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I don't think that this is accurate.
yeah. No, this one was like it set up the guy who did it with me had to get like certified to do it and everything.
Okay.
So,
I hate poop and pee. So,
but so anyway, this job that I'm going to be accepting
Mhm.
at this point that you're hearing it, I've accepted it. It's going to be a nice change of pace for Allie and I, which is what
Mhm.
I'm looking for right now.
right.
Even if this isn't a super long-term job, like part of the reason why I left or I'm leaving the church is for Allie and I's schedules to match up better,
Mm.
to kind of breathe a little bit more.
Mhm.
And so this is Monday through Friday, 7 to 3:30.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all.
That's really great, actually. You get a lot of time in the evenings.
Yeah. And they said, they rarely work overtime, but if they do, usually just come in earlier,
Okay.
which totally fine with.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
like
would do
really,
that.
even like you think Friday afternoons, like I get off work at 3:30. If
Mhm.
Allie and I want to go somewhere, it's not a big deal for her to be able to get off a couple hours early,
Yeah.
and then we can go do
Mhm.
whatever we want.
We can still podcast in the evenings.
We can still podcast. It's also like it's just a good company. Like when I was interviewing and whatnot,
Mhm.
they have a couple different companies within the overall one. So like this is a branch of what they do,
Gotcha.
and they're not small, but they like he's like we really try to operate like a smaller company. Like the people who've worked there have worked there for 20 years.
Mm.
And he's like, I'm trying to find younger people because in the next 10 years, I'm going to be losing people to retirement,
Right.
which bodes well. I told him that. It's like, that not fascinates, but attracts me to it because like I want a place that people feel, obviously, if people feel valued, they stay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing probably starting June 17th.
Awesome. So is it hourly or salary?
Hourly.
What are you making hourly? You don't have to say it on podcast, but just write it down on the paper and then like slide it over to me.
What am I making now? Or
What will you be making when you start?
Well,
Is that it right there?
it depends.
I see.
So to start,
I see that. Yep,
So-
I see that.
to start that,
That's not bad.
90 days that,
Mm-hmm.
6 months that.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Is that more than you're making now?
it's a little bit less.
Okay.
But I also work more hours now. And
Mm.
so like that's what
But your salary.
I'm salaried,
Yeah.
but I'm contractually obligated to 45 hours.
Okay.
So like overall it'll kind of balance out. Like I'll be
Mhm.
bringing home less, but I'll have more home time, better schedule.
Also, the exciting thing about a schedule like that, like 7 to 3:30, now you can start a side hustle if you want to.
Exactly.
And your brother went off on side hustles. Brandon, we
Did
had
he?
him on the podcast. He went off on Twitter about him because he saw something about side hustles and got super ticked off.
He's against side hustles.
Yeah, he's very much against them. But I was like, his problem, I think, is when like the culture promotes like that it's healthy to need.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's just appropriating a culture that you have to work a job and then also have a side hustle just to survive.
right.
And people get excited about like, oh, I'm doing a side hustle now to make more money.
That's okay. I see his point there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I counterpointed with let's not completely hate side hustles because sometimes you can be doing fine in your day job and it's
Yeah.
something that you just like to do as a hobby.
Right.
And if you make money off of it, more power to you.
Yeah.
So like you got your photography
Mm-hmm.
going on, you can actually like focus on that and maybe build something out of that,
Yeah.
which is super exciting.
And what's nice too is like, I would like to eventually get into like shooting weddings, which I
Mhm.
know photographers like either hate weddings or like doing them.
Right.
But to me, it's like kind of a necessary step to get in.
Right.
And one, you can make pretty good money off of it.
Mhm.
And so to have my weekends available now to say, yeah, I can commit to shooting
Uh-huh.
a weekend, because I won't have to worry about Sunday.
Mhm.
And then any evening now, basically.
Yeah.
And so,
This to sidebar really quick. This might be a larger sidebar than
Okay.
what I think it might be. But I had obviously you've known about me proposing for a
Yes.
while. You were first to know. You were boots on the ground. But I had originally asked you, kind of given you an option of, I would like you to be my best man, but also I know that it would be cool for you to do, like, to be my photographer for the wedding. It'd be nice for your portfolio. I've changed my mind.
Okay.
I want you by my side as I get married.
Okay.
You're my best man. If you'll do it, will you be my best man?
Yes, of course.
I'm so happy.
Although I was kind of expecting, I don't know where you're at in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I don't want to spoil anything.
I'm not wherever that is yet.
With Charles?
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm assuming he gets married because I've
Charles?
seen, don't tell me, but I'm assuming that because I've seen some GIFs.
Okay.
Because I've stopped looking up Brooklyn Nine-Nine GIFs because it's giving away spoilers.
Yeah, I've done that before.
We just watched the episode last night where Captain Holt, or Terry's wife, gives birth to their baby, and Jake is the god husband, and Captain Holt has to go and talk to his ex, who is the OBGYN, and it's Nick Offerman is the ex.
Oh boy,
and their relationship ended badly because Nick Offerman had a $700 wood duck that Captain Holt hated because it had a weak beak, and he threw it off a bridge.
I do remember this now. Yep.
If you don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Oh my goodness.
I'm addicted to that show. It's so funny.
I kind of held off watching it for the longest time.
Me too.
Because I was like, I don't know. Like, it looks kind of dumb. It's not. Like,
It's so funny.
it develops so well.
Captain Holt's character is one of my favorite characters, I think, out of any TV series.
Yeah. He's just like dry and serious, but not. He plays it so well.
Yeah, because he's just like very, like, something runs over his foot and he says, I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. And he's also gay, and he's like kind of sassy with it, but with that super dry, extremely serious.
Very professional.
He like slips the sass in there. Also, Emily noticed that the camera work on Captain Holt, like, they'll do like subtle zoom ins on his lines. Like, whenever he like accentuates a point, they'll like subtly zoom in on his face. Because he always, like, his delivery seems to be like set up, pause, delivery
Right.
of a line or an insult or anything like that. And it always zooms in on that little pause right before the delivery. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
So to get back, we're way off on a. we're swimming far away from the boat. Let's try to swim back.
Yeah.
So where were we? Talking about job stuff.
Job, side hustles, schedules
Side
better.
hustles, right? Schedules better. You got your weekends. I asked you to be my best man. You said yes. I cried a little bit on
Yes.
on the inside.
Yeah. So that's my big life news right now.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for you, man.
I appreciate it.
I know what it's like to be in that limbo of job hunting.
Just a lot of rejection.
It's the worst thing in the world. I got to the point where I was stoked on the rejection. It was like fueling me
Really?
in an unhealthy way. But like,
Well, that's like I was to the point where, like, just this past week, I had a kind of a lead with the IT company. It was a long shot, but I knew somebody who knew somebody, and because that's like eventually, I think, what I would like to do. And so he was like, there's this help desk position available. You don't meet the qualifications, but we hire more on character than qualifications. So I was like, all right, well, I'll apply. And I tell Allie, I try not to get my hopes up with anything.
yeah,
But like, just
you have those places that you're like, you're already picturing
yeah,
your life
exactly
at that company.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got rejected yesterday,
Mm.
which again, like I kind of like I knew,
Mhm.
but still, like when the email came, I was like,
Yeah.
and-
I've gotten rejections of where I thought like I was the man for that job.
Mhm.
Like perfect, like the perfect person of what they were looking for, and gotten rejections, just straight up rejections. Like you're not what we're looking for, or you're overqualified,
Mm.
which really sucks.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so I'm
Too
better,
good.
better than what you thought, and that's a bad thing.
Right.
Oh, there's your siren. Is it noon? 12:01.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you can hear that, listeners, but there is a siren going off. Tornado siren.
yeah, back to the job thing real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So I got that rejection
Yeah.
yesterday. I interviewed for the job that I got offered Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I really like the company of the one who offered me, like just the guy I interviewed with who is the president there.
Mm-hmm.
Just real nice guy. But the other thing is more of what I want to end up in. And so I was like kind of conflicted. And then when they rejected me at the IT thing, it kind of actually made this more at peace. Because I was like, I've been praying. I was like, I always pray, open the right doors, close the wrong ones.
Right.
And so it kind of set it up pretty well to where, again, even though I'm going to make a little bit less than I do now, the potential, again, to even move up if I do stay there is there, which goes back to where I'm at now. I have no,
You're
where I'm
maxed out.
yeah. And so I'm pretty at peace about this.
Cool.
So
Did you find it kind of comes in waves, like rejections and
yes.
like potentials,
Yes.
like callbacks, I guess?
Yep.
Because that was like how it was for me. Like I would send out a whole bunch of applications or resumes, and then either hear nothing for the longest time, and then all of a sudden just get a crap ton of rejections, or get like a crap ton of, hey, we want to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like, if companies just like pick a day or maybe it's a time of month or something.
Maybe.
I'm trying to look up on Indeed how many jobs that I've applied to
Ooh.
because it is astronomical.
Same. While you're doing that, I want to take another sidebar quick. I forgot to bring them, but we got the stickers in from Matt.
Oh, really?
Back row. Yeah, I forgot to bring them.
Oh,
Maybe we can swing by my house since we'll be over that way.
okay.
And he actually gave us a ton. Like there's a whole bunch of back row stickers in there as well, and then our stickers as well. And he also said that he'll be sending us bigger versions of our
Seriously?
stickers as well. Yeah, but he
Maybe-
did email me.
Maybe we can do some giveaways or something.
Yeah, totally. What did I say to him? Oh, so remember when we called him out on the podcast about not playing our kazoo
Yeah.
episode? He said, I will be airing one of your kazoo hymns on our Monday show at the very end of the third hour. So take that, punks.
Yes, it worked.
It worked. I was going to say like we trolled back row, but this whole podcast is a troll.
Pretty much. I had Corey, our friend Corey. He described this pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
He
So stoked about how he described this.
yeah, I don't remember exactly how it all came up in his head, but he said he was talking to somebody and he's like, they're basically the Seinfeld of podcasts.
The best compliment I think that we could have ever gotten.
Where like nothing really ever happens or is planned.
Right.
It just is.
It is. It's a podcast about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to change our, like when you look us up online, like right now it's back or You're My Friend and I Trust You, a podcast you can trust is our like slogan thing. I'm going to change that to the Seinfeld of podcasts.
Or podcast of nothing. You should put that in there.
A podcast of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he also said about the stickers, before you got the stickers, I think you assumed the stickers were going to be bigger than they are. So just so you know, bigger stickers are coming soon because you guys deserve it.
Wow.
And then the back row stickers are for promo purposes, not selling them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna make a whole bunch of back row merch. Make some.
We have a cricket now, so
Their dog would just pooped in your yard.
they do it every time they bring them out here. I've stopped mowing.
Yeah,
I
would quit mowing at that tree.
yeah. And like if they want to complain, they can mow it because all their dog crap's in it.
Also, that's a complete non-confrontational Donnie move. Something that I would do if I was here. I would just give up that land. Like, this is your land now. You own to
He
the
marked
tree.
it. So, real quick, I found on Indeed how many jobs I've applied to.
Can I take a stab at it?
Sure.
125.
139.
Wow, I was pretty close.
Yeah.
That's also a ton of jobs.
I will say, I mean, I did have a few offers that just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But the majority of them
Yeah.
were rejections, which is funny because like everyone's like, oh yeah, like the economy's so good right now. You can go get a job anywhere.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Exactly.
If you want to work in a factory, totally, those jobs are there.
Yeah. And like from what I found too, it's mostly like lower paying jobs.
Oh yeah, they're not.
Like-
They're typically like just above minimum.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like working class minimum or blue collar minimum is what I'll label that.
Yeah.
So feel free to quote me on that. Blue collar minimum, I think, is anywhere from like $10 to $15 an hour is blue collar minimum wage.
Yeah.
Because you typically won't find a blue collar type job for less than that.
Right.
Typically not for more, unless you're doing something like
skilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like welding or something.
Yeah.
But if you're just working at P. Graham Dunn, you're going to be making $12.38 an hour, which is what I had made.
Yeah.
Airing out my
grievances.
Yeah. I'm so stoked for you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So
and
stoked
you
for
as
you.
well.
Oh,
it's going to be a
thanks,
big
dude.
day.
I hope
tomorrow.
so. I hope it'll be a big day.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it'll be a happy day. If she says no, I'm going to... I don't know what I'm going to do. Just chuck the ring into the woods.
Like, especially too, because I'm assuming you're going to drive together. So what if she said no? Like, how do you handle that? Well, you can find your own way home.
Yeah, oh, you're going to be there. So you can ride home with Pudge now. Now I'm freaking out. What if she says no?
Which is funny. I had the same, like,
I had full confidence up until this very moment. Now I'm freaking out.
what's funny is when I proposed, it was one of those things, like, we talked about it and I knew she was going to say yes.
Yeah.
But I convinced in my head, like, what if she did say no?
Yeah.
Like, she might say no. And
Well, I wasn't freaking thinking about it until you put the idea in my head. Now I'm a wreck. What did you say? Oh, I remember what you said.
when I proposed,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't fully remember everything I said. I didn't plan it.
Yeah.
Except for like my starting.
Yeah. I think I'm going to plan. Well, I have kind of planned like the start of like what I'm going to say to like, I've brought you here today for this reason. But other than that, I'm just going to shoot from the hip
Yeah.
because I'm pretty darn good at shooting from the hip.
Life motto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot from the hip.
What could go wrong?
A teacher of mine in high school used to have a saying of, if you throw enough mud against the wall, something's going to stick. So I've taken that and kind of ran with it. If you want to achieve, is there somebody in your house right now?
That's what it kind of sounded like.
You want to go check that out?
You keep talking.
All right.
My gun's in the other room.
I'll stay here and guard the kazoos. All right. So I'm just going to commentate what I think is happening because once Pudge leaves the room, I won't be able to see. That would suck if we died on the podcast, but actually it wouldn't suck that much because what a way to go, right? Dying on the, but then who would release it? Because both of us would be dead. And I'm the only one that knows any of the login information or how to upload podcasts to Podbean. Well, I guess if you're hearing this, we're not dead. But if you are not hearing this, then I guess we died and this will just be a lost tape. maybe years from now it will be found and released, like that dude that lived with the bears. Do you guys remember that guy? That dude that went and lived with the bears and he was filming it, and then the bears, spoiler alert, also surprise, killed him. No doy, you're living with bears, and like it got filmed, like his camera. So if you don't know the story, which I'm sure you do, this dude went and lived with bears, and he kept like a camera with him, and he was recording, and he lived in a tent, and he just lived in this herd of bears, this pack of bears, and was sleeping one night, had the lens cap on his camera. A bear broke into his tent. I think there is somebody here. I just heard Pudge talking to somebody, and he hasn't come back in a while. There's somebody out there. Now I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to keep talking about these bears. So this bear broke into his tent, mauls this dude to death, and he's just screaming, and you hear all of it. And it's pretty brutal. I think that you can still find it online, but you can find the audio of this dude getting mauled to death by bears. How did we get to bears? What were we talking about? Let's back this up. Talking about getting killed on the podcast. Oh, yeah, not being able to upload. But so this is what I think is happening outside right now. So Pudge has walked out the door. He shut the door behind him. I'm alone in this room and actually getting more terrified by the minute because I can hear voices out there. And I don't know who it is. I hope it's not a robber because I am not being quiet at all. And they will definitely be able to hear me and come in and either kill me and steal my money or just steal my money. Either one of those. Bad scenario. But Pudge is out there. I'm assuming that he's taking care of the situation. He said his gun was in the other room. What I assume that he did is if you walk out of this room, if you go straight, you go into the kitchen. If you go right, there's a hallway that leads to the bedrooms. What I'm assuming he did is he went out the door, he barrel rolled to the right and rolled down the hallway, grabbed his gun, and then snuck back out and is now taking care of the situation. We might have a hostage situation on our hands, being that it's been so long since he left and he's not back yet. I don't know what's going on, guys. Legitimately getting a little bit petrified in this moment. I have an earmuff off my ear trying to hear what's going on. Oh, wait, was that a dish? Oh, I hear dishes. I hear dishes. What is going on? It sounds like Allie's out there. I hope everything's okay. I hope everything's all right, but this might be a family moment, and I don't want to interject. What would you guys do in this situation? You're at a friend's house. You're in a room with your friend. His wife comes home. It's about noon, so maybe she's getting lunch. Maybe he's just chit-chatting with her. But what if not? What if there's a problem? How long do you stay in the room? Do you leave the room at all? Because you don't want to get involved in that. Okay, I think she's laughing. I think we're good. So back to the bears and the mauling. So if you were in a situation where you were living with bears, I think, one, you're an idiot if you don't protect yourself. What I think you should do is get a Kevlar suit of sorts and wear that suit just all the time if you have to live with bears. Pudge is back.
I was very curious as to what you were going to be doing, and I walk in the door and I just hear, so if you're in a situation where you have to live with bears, what kind of rabbit hole did he get himself into?
I think that you should listen to that once this episode comes out. I went to some dark places.
Really?
Very quickly, actually. But I also was just like live expressing my thoughts. I didn't know who was out there.
Oh.
Eventually I heard dishes. I thought maybe there might be a hostage situation because you were taking forever.
Sorry.
And then I heard Allie, and then I didn't know, like, is something wrong? Like, did she get fired from her job and that's why she's home in the middle of the day? And then I was like, what do I do? Do I leave the room? And then I asked the listeners, like, what would you do in that situation of you're at a friend's house talking with your friend in a room.
Mm-hmm.
His significant other comes home middle of the day unannounced. He goes out to address the situation. Takes a little bit of time to come back in. What if there's an argument or something's wrong? How long do you stay in the room? Do you leave the room? Do you escape through the window?
That's a good question.
Because you don't want to walk into the middle of that mess.
You don't. Just to put you at ease.
Yeah.
It's all good. She just came home for lunch.
Okay.
And it took a while because like we haven't had the chance to like fully discuss the offer and everything except for over text. So
Gotcha. So you chose the middle of the podcast
to
have what could potentially be a very long conversation. And you just kind of left your boy hanging.
Hey, I hear you did a good job.
Just to talk about bears.
Yes.
I started talking about like, what if you got killed?
Mm.
Like there was a guy out there and he killed you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came in here and killed me.
On the podcast?
Yeah, on the podcast, which what a way to go. At this point, you've heard everything I've talked about. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. But one, what a way to go. And then I was thinking like, that'd be like, we'd probably get a lot of views on that episode.
But how would it get released?
That was my thought. That's where I went because I'm literally the only one that knows any of our login information and also how to upload it.
And like it would just keep recording.
Yeah, it would just sit on your computer. So eventually it would get found, like a found footage, and then that got me thinking about that bear guy. The dude that went and lived with the bears and got mauled to death, and you can hear the audio.
Yeah. Have you heard that?
It's brutal,
it
dude.
is.
It's exactly, if you've never heard it, it's exactly what you would imagine a man getting mauled to death by bears would sound like.
Yeah.
Just terrified shrieks of agony and terror and pain. And also like a hint of betrayal in his screams.
That's part of the issue. Like I get in like YouTube holes or internet holes really where like Wikipedia is really bad with it. It's like I'll look something up on Wikipedia and then that leads to something else and suddenly I'm not,
right,
whatever. But then
there's another wiener dog coming in to poop on your yard.
It was actually on Instagram. I was looking through something and like just random stuff will pop up and somehow Instagram had it on here of a dude like getting attacked by a village with like what are they called, katanas or whatever, the swords.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it was one of those things that like you see it and then like I wish I didn't just see that.
How did that happen?
It on Instagram? Or
I mean, no, why did they attack him with katanas?
I don't know. I didn't look much into it, but like I mean it was and I didn't really,
because I know that's your like number one least favorite way of wanting to die is getting stabbed to death.
Yes.
Because you just don't think that you'd like how it feels, which of course nobody would. But
I'd rather be shot.
Yeah.
I think it goes in and then comes back out. And also I don't like I really hate cutting myself on accident.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you hear about the jealous gorillas?
No.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. So if you're listening on back row, I know I kind of got a little talking to from Matt because I was just bleeping out my swear words whenever I swear. And he was like, yeah, that's not good enough. You need to
just don't say it.
Well, he was like, you either need to let me know so I can edit it out. I was like, don't worry about it. I'll just edit it completely out myself.
Yeah.
So, but a little bit of a graphic content warning for those of you listening on back row. This is about to get a little gross. But there was this guy that worked at a zoo, and there was a gorilla. What do you call it? Not exhibit. A gorilla.
Like enclosure?
Enclosure. That's better. A gorilla enclosure, and it was it was all female gorillas, which they are known for being jealous, apparently, which I didn't know. And it was one of the gorilla's birthdays. So he goes in with a birthday cake and gives this birthday cake to this one gorilla whose birthday it was, and then walks out. And after he walked out, and and I don't think it was just him, but I think he was the one that presented the cake. But somebody forgot to close the gate, to lock the gate. The rest of the female gorillas got out of the cage, got this guy, ripped his arms and legs and penis off, and like bashed up and tore up his face. He lived,
Holy cow.
but they like destroyed this guy because
Wow.
he didn't give them cake as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know where to go with that.
I
but-
know. Primates are crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's extremely interesting to me how similar they are to humans.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily believe that we evolved from
Mm-hmm.
monkeys or apes or anything, but it is just really weird when you see a gorilla or a chimpanzee that knows sign language
Mm-hmm.
and kind of talk to you. And then I saw something on Twitter, one had figured out how to work Instagram, like on a phone, and he was scrolling through Instagram, like pictures, and then he knew to click on the picture to enlarge it, and then swipe it to make it smaller and go back to scrolling.
Wow.
So he would scroll, see a picture he likes, open it, close it, keep scrolling. It's pretty crazy to see
That's
a
awesome.
big, hairy gorilla just
Scrolling
Instagram.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Live tweet in to the show.
Oh, really? Just
from
now?
Our friend Corey.
Oh, hey.
Reference to, I'm assuming, what we said in last week's episode about twins.
Uh.
The world record between twins being born is actually 84 days. I know this because my roommate in college was an identical twin, and I asked him every year on his birthday if it was his brother's birthday as well. Something Corey would do.
That definitely sounds like something Corey would do.
Yes. Corey is like, he's what, 20,
He's my age,
2?
23.
23?
Yeah.
And acts like a 45-year-old dad.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate?
He is a children's youth minister, and I frequently tell him he is in the right profession. Because you need to be just like a little bit deranged
Mm-hmm.
and just have that dad horrible sense of humor. I think if you're talking about Corey, you can't talk about Corey without mentioning puns,
Yeah.
because he is relentless with puns. I went to Old Carolina, which is a barbecue joint, with him the other day, and we sit down at the table, and he had grabbed like some, because you have to grab all your condiments and stuff
Mm-hmm.
at like a little condiment buffet, and then you go sit down. And he sits down, and he has a thing of pepper, one of those paper packages of pepper. Fun to say. And I forget what the pun was for the pepper, but he throws the pepper down, says a pun about it, and I just go, ugh, as I typically do when he says a pun. He's like, "Why are you so salty?" And he throws down a pack of salt. And then he goes, "That was the last straw." And he throws a straw at me. And then there was something else that he threw as well. But only Corey would take time out of his day to gather items necessary for puns.
Yeah, that's very accurate. I'm at to the point now, like, I will hardly acknowledge it.
Yeah, same.
I'm just like,
If they're too bad, I can't help but groan.
mm-hmm.
But it's just the fact that they're constant.
Yes.
If it was like once a week, once a day even, I could take. But the fact that it's just a constant stream of puns, it's a little bit hard to wade through that stream sometimes.
Did he tell you about the homeschool graduation he spoke at?
No.
So Corey was homeschooled his
Yeah.
entire life until
Yeah.
college. And
Which kind of explains, I think, some things.
and so there's a homeschool kind of subculture at our church, or at least with one family who is then connected to a larger homeschool co-op is what I think they call them. Anyway, he got asked to speak at their graduation, which was apparently just like at someone's house or something, is what I think he told me. So anyway, he did his thing, and then at the end of it, when he was done, a kid raises his hand.
Oh no!
And he was like, "Okay, guess you got a question?" He goes, "Can I give you a few pointers?"
Oh.
And he got critiqued by this kid about how like his eye contact was good. I don't remember what other things he said, but like it's at the end of his graduation speech, he's like in the front of 200 people, and this kid is like critiquing what he just did. Which I loved.
That's
such a homeschool thing to do, too.
That is the epitome of homeschool. The epitome. The awkwardness with like the kind of too smart for your own good sort of thing.
Right.
And like not being aware of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is homeschool.
Yeah.
And also, what just a beautiful antithesis of Corey getting critiqued for giving a graduation speech immediately after the graduation speech.
Still on stage.
That's so funny, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's hilarious.
Well,
yeah, I'm hungry, dude.
I'm so hungry.
Where do you want to go for lunch? You ever been to Spoon in Worcester?
What do they do?
Sandwiches.
I have not.
Like good sandwiches.
How do you feel about Chinese?
What kind?
I don't know.
I don't want to do Ming Hang.
What about like the place in Worcester?
Basil?
I was thinking about the one on where we went before camp.
Oh, China Garden?
Yeah.
No. Because that just always makes me feel like poop.
We can talk about this off podcast.
We probably should talk about this off podcast. All right. Well, whose turn is it to... Is your turn to kazoo?
It's mine.
All right. All righty. Well, listeners, we want to thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It's called You're My Friend and I Trust You. It's the Seinfeld of podcasts, it's been called. We've got some good reviews on iTunes, and we implore you to please, wherever you're listening to this podcast, if possible, please like, share, and subscribe this podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. Share this podcast with other people. Maybe follow us on Twitter at myfriendpodcast at twitter.com. And maybe whenever we tweet something, maybe respond to it. So that way your followers see us, we can get a little bit more popularity. Maybe we can start getting some ad sponsors on here, start paying the bills, make a little money off this, a little side hustle. Honestly, I don't care if we make any money off this. I'd just like a few more listeners because I'm selfish and full of myself in that way. You can also find us at itrustyoupodcast@gmail.com. Write us in any questions. If you want to congratulate myself for getting proposed this weekend. Are you doing Aladdin over there? Just I'm talking, I hear Aladdin in the back. Okay. All right. Maybe write us in at I Trust You podcast. Don't go back and do Aladdin. I'm not going to be able to. Write us in at I Trust You podcast at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. I would like to get congratulated on getting proposed. You can find us on Back Row Radio, on the Back Row Radio app, or on the Back Row Radio station every Friday morning, sometime in the morning. I think 7 and 10 Eastern Standard Time is when we start on there. Also, we are doing a 5K run for Compassion International. We're raising some money for Compassion International. They dig wells for impoverished villages, and they also help with widows and orphans around the world. We think it's a great thing. If we raise $500 for them, we are going to run in a 5K, Pudge and I. If you donate to the run, we're going to write your name on our running shoes, and then we will select 4 people at random to give a shoe to. That is, though, closing at the very end of June, so that's coming up very quick, so you only have a couple more weeks to donate to that. You can find that at GoFundMe at You Are My Friend and I Trust You 5K for Compassion, or just look in the description of this podcast. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, you'll see a link that'll take you right to it. We would really appreciate it if you go donate to that. None of the money goes to us. It all goes to Compassion. We think it's a pretty cool charity, so we're trying to do something there. Something good for other people is what we're trying to do, because this podcast does nothing good for anyone. I think we are all in agreement on that. I guess just thanks for listening. We appreciate the listens, the follows, the likes, the subscribes, the shares. We love you. You're beautiful people. Tune in next week.
Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.